So we now have the release date for 11.1, right? It's dropping the date that I told you guys months ago, February 25th. This thing's going to drop. It's also bringing some zone updates, right? Not only to the Ringing Deeps, which is the entrance into Undermine, but also Zandalar. I didn't even know this. So there's updates coming to other zones here in 11.1. Let's see what Mr. GM has discovered in terms of zone updates coming in this next patch.
Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about zones, and more specifically we're going to talk about all of these zone updates in patch 11.1, as there are 2 zones getting some new subzones in relation to Undermine and the stories that are going on over there. But before we jump into all of that, guys, I do want to give a huge thanks to everyone over on the Patreon. Just recently started posting over there again, and I really appreciate support. So if you do want to support me over on Patreon, I'll leave a link down below. Right, so yes, patch 11.1 is coming extremely soon, and with this update, of course, we are getting the Goblin capital city of Undermine, and I've done a full zone overview of that zone, and if you do want to check it out, I'll leave a link down below. However, that's not the only zone we're going to be going to in patch 11.1. There are 2 major zones in Azeroth getting subzones which are related to Undermine and the story there. The first one is
Ringing Deeps. Okay, he's going to say Ringing Deeps. Yeah, I did know this, so I guess I'll let the video play. I'm wondering what the hell's happening at Zandalar.
Is the Ringing Deeps, and the second one is actually Zandalar. So that's Zandalar crazy. Is actually getting some updates for the first time since, what, Battle for Azeroth, which is pretty awesome. Now, the purpose of these 2 zone expansions are for 2 things. One, it is a entrance to Undermine, so both of them do have an entrance to Undermine, but also there is some weekly quests here called side gigs. These rotate weekly between...
Wait, both... Does Zandalar has an entrance to Undermine? Is that... Oh, it does. What the hell? What is... Geographically, how does that make any sense? Well, I guess it's an island off the coast, so maybe you fly out... Okay.
But also there is some weekly quests here called side gigs. These rotate weekly between Zandalar and the Ringing Deeps and are picked up in Undermine, and then you teleport to those zones. These quests are definitely worth doing because they reward key shards, reputation, renown, valor stones, explorer gear, residence crystals, and crests. So it's definitely...
that makes... Yes, the Motherlode dungeon. Okay, now I see why it is the way it is. Yes. Yeah, are they... Okay, that makes sense.
It's going to be a big part of your kind of weekly rotation of quests, so you're going to be spending a little bit of time in each of these subzones. So let's start by talking about the Ringing Deep zone. This area is called Gutterville and is in the southeast corner of the Ringing Deeps. This is a new area right by Opportunity Point through a broken wall, and then there's this massive new area which has been unveiled. Now, this area does have kind of 2 parts to it. It does have Gutterville, which is more of a neutral area with a new flight path, and also some Dark Fuse activity as well, which are not good goblins. So
yeah, Dark Fuse goblins are going to be very relevant to the lore going forward. They are the 5th cartel, right? So there are 4 main cartels that we're going to be dealing with: Bilgewater, Steamweedle, Venture Co., and God, what's the other one? The pirate one. Shit, I forgot. Anyways, those are going to be the ones that we deal with. Blackwater. That's the one I'm trying to think of. So those are the main ones, but this one... These guys right here, these are bad guys. These are bad guys. They are, all goblins are bad guys, honestly. But these guys in particular are very bad, and we're going to deal with them later on. There might actually be another reputation chain that we get with them later on, too.
You will be attacking those, but the further you go south in this zone, the more Black Blood Old God influence happens. And what's happening here, it seems, is that the goblins are harvesting Black Blood for...
Of course they are.
Who knows who? Probably Xalatath, right? So yeah, the weekly quests here obviously do involve you killing a lot of these kind of elementals and black blood things and whatnot, kind of clearing up the area as well. Very, very cool looking area, though. I really love the design of the black blood stuff. We haven't seen that properly in a little bit now, so it is very exciting and obviously kind of teasing the future of the World Soul Saga here with this small little area. So as mentioned, the further south you go, the more black blood influence you get, but if you go all the way south, you will actually get teleported back up to Gutterville, but as you fly into this area, you will see that there is a lot of old Titan ruins. Now, if you do want to explore this area, there is actually a brand new delve down there called Excavation Site 9, and this...
So you can't actually go into this zone yet? So this is just like, it'll teleport you out, but there is a delve that basically allows you to play through this zone. That's interesting. I wonder if this is going to open up later on through some kind of quest line or something. Wow. Because it's clearly all fucked up and corrupted and titany, right? So there's going to be a lot of lore to be had here.
Yeah, there is actually a brand new delve down there called Excavation Site 9, and this does take place in the southernmost point of this new area. And in this delve, you do see a lot of the old Titan designs and just the general area being riddled with black blood, which is awesome. So a very cool area, and as mentioned, there is going to be some weekly quests here. And this is also the area you begin your journey to Undermine. The first chapter of the campaign does bring you down here to do some quests, and then obviously head off into Undermine through the mine that they've created down there. Now, the other area is Zandalar. This is a new area called the Kaja'Coast in the western part of Zoldazar. Now,
Wow, this is a whole new area. What the hell? This didn't used to exist before. This might have just been blocked off by mountains or something. Okay, cool.
Part of Zoldazar. Now, this does use the kind of design principles of Battle for Azeroth, which is really cool to see them using that once again. And this is just a new area being created for these...
I personally love the freaking music from this zone, man. It's such good music. I spend a lot of time here, even because this was the only time in the entire my lifetime of the game that I played Horde, because Alliance and Horde couldn't cross over early on in this expansion, so I wanted to raid, so I played some Horde. Man, this was good times.
Weekly quests, but there is some really cool design ideas here. You still have like the kind of pterodactyl NPCs from Zandalar being there, and they're involved in the side quests. There's also like an oil rig there with this crazy looking crab on top of it. There's also bomb crabs running about, which is crazy, and robots, and all sorts of like madness happening in this little subzone of Zandalar. There's also very angry Zandalari who are angry at the goblins, of course, for mining the Kaja'mite, which is kind of the reason for this area. There's a big Kaja'mite mine there, and that is going to be the reason why they're in this area, because they found a load of Kaja'mite for them to mine. The weekly quests here are kind of cool. They got you going.
It's funny because I'm pretty sure wasn't Kaja'mite, like, didn't the goblins become goblins because the trolls forced them to mine Kaja'mite? I don't remember who forced them, but early on, like, the trolls were a very primitive race. Not the trolls, the goblins were a very primitive race. And then I want to say it was the trolls. Another race forced them to mine Kaja'mite for them. And in their interaction with Kaja'mite, they became more intellectual. Yeah, so I forgot which race forced them to do it. It might have been the trolls, but now they're back doing it again. So
the weekly quests here are kind of cool. They got you going into the mine. They got you killing various things. They got you digging up buried treasure. It's a very cool little area. And as mentioned, this does rotate weekly with the Ringing Deep zone. So it is very cool to see, you know, a new area being developed in this old zone. So big fan of that. No flight path, though, it does seem, but it is a teleporter straight back to Undermine from this area. So yeah, it's not too hard to get to, but yeah, there you go, guys. Just a short video kind of talking about the new zones in 11.1. Some really cool updates here to some older zones. I really like that a lot, and I hope they continue to do things like this, where you're not just kind of stuck in one zone in a patch. You do venture out and do other things, which I think is really cool, and I've always kind of liked that. I like that even in like the Isle of Quel'dan As with Burning Crusade, where you kind of left Outland, did something else, and that was always really cool to me. So yeah, so very, very welcome. As mentioned, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time here doing your weekly quests. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down below what you think of these two new zones in 11.1. Are you excited to go there? Do you feel like they should do more stuff like this? Let me know down below. And of course, if you did like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you do want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon and I'm on Twitter at Mr. GMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And I'm also streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. Streaming a lot of Season of Discovery recently, but also going to be jumping into 11.1 when that launches extremely soon. But if you do want to check me out on stream, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.
Interesting update. I did not know the Zandalar zone updates were coming at all.